go, episode 2 of a 10-part series of the 97-98 Chicago Bulls Last Dance. This is covering the 97-98 three-peat to complete their second three-peat in 8 years. They had a three-peat, 2 years off, technically 18 months. Jordan came back and they're working on their third championship in this second three-peat. We know there was a lot of drama from the first episode, so we're going to jump right into this second one, and we're going to see what was going on with Scottie Pippen. If you like my content, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get something every time I upload. Next Monday, we're dropping episode 3, and then on Tuesday, we're dropping episode 4, and so on and so on. Hey, let's get this thing rolling. So right from the get-go, we got Scottie Pippen. So this whole episode is mainly going to be focused on Scottie Pippen and his troubles during the season. Well, in this interview, they were asking Scottie Pippen, hey, what do you feel about Phil Jackson saying we want this one last year to try to get this second three-peat? And how do you feel about Michael Jordan taking $33 million? And Scottie Pippen's pretty much like, hey, yeah, you know, I want to play here. I like to retire in Chicago. Like most greats back then, they would like to stay with the same team that they were drafted for, or they played the majority of their career for. It wasn't really jumping around back then. So Scottie Pippen's like, hey man, we've been winning here. This is what I want to do. I want to retire a Bull. But old GM Jerry, you know how he is, trying to steal the spotlight from everybody and blow everything up. He's like, nah, this is it. We're going to, we're going to blow it all up. And hey, no one's off the trading block. If someone offers me something for Scottie Pippen, I got to hear them. I got to hear what they about to say. Y'all want Scottie? What you going to offer me? Because we trying to win this, and I'm trying to continue my job as a great GM. But you're already the best GM in the world. You have Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. You brought in Horace Grant for the first three-peat. You got Steve Kerr. You've done your job. And this right here didn't sit right with Scottie Pippen. So if you seen Scottie Pippen came out for the ring ceremony, he was in his suit because he was injured. He had an injury, so he wasn't suiting up for the beginning of the season. And he said that Jerry Krause left a bad taste in his mouth because he pretty much told the team, hey, at the end of the season, whoever's in this locker room, it's over with. We're done. We're disbanding it. It's over with. He already told Phil Jackson, I don't care if you go 82-0. You're not coming back. You're done. And Scottie Pippen's like, man, I didn't expect it to end like this. So his speech at the ring ceremony, it kind of sounded like, hey, Scottie was retiring. Scottie was like, hey, if I don't get a chance to tell y'all this again, I really appreciate my career here. He's been there for 10 years. Drafted in 87. It's 97, going on his 6th ring. He's like, hey, I love this city, and I know y'all love me back. Pretty much, he's not saying it, but he's pretty much saying, hey, y'all got to talk to Jerry, man. It's not my fault. If I leave this year, well, after this season, you got to talk to Jerry. It's not on me. It's on Mr. Krause. And here goes something that turns friends against friends, brothers against brothers. Business, it turns you into enemies. Money. So Scottie Pippen was number 2 on the Bulls in scoring, number 2 in rebounds, number 1 in steals, number 1 in assists, number 2 in minutes. The 6th highest paid player on the Bulls was Scottie Pippen. The 122nd highest paid player in the NBA, Scottie Pippen. How? When Scottie Pippen is arguably one of the top 5 best players in the NBA, 10 players at this time in his career. He's getting paid so little, and Michael Jordan's about to get $33 million, and Scottie's only getting 4? What? That doesn't even make sense. Now, if an NBA player now, a star that's won multiple rings, 5 at that, I'm saying if an NBA player has 2 rings and he was a starter, he's getting minimum 15 a year. We're seeing bum players, well, they're better than me, but bums compared to their peers. We're seeing bum players get $120 million. How? Scottie Pippen got $4 million. He was getting, $18 million over 7 years or something stupid like that. Like, they don't even let players get 7-year contracts anymore. This is probably one of the reasons why. Scottie was underpaid. And I could see the frustration in it, because if I went to work and they were paying me minimum wage and I was sold the most stuff each month, then yeah, you have a reason to be mad. And Scottie had more than a reason to get mad. He had 5 rings. So Scottie Pippen ended up playing basketball, going through high school. Then he ends up going to the University of Central Arkansas. At Central Arkansas, he didn't even play his freshman year. He just started off as a manager, but he would always practice and practice and practice. He was about 5'11", they said, his freshman year. Yeah, senior year going into freshman year of college. And then when he came back his sophomore year, over that summer, they said he had a growth spurt. So he went from about 5'11", 6 foot to 6'5". And then from there to his junior year, he went from 6'5" to 6'7", and he became a monster. And he just dominated. Everybody knows who Scottie Pippen is. They had Bill Clinton even do an interview and say, hey, I was big into basketball. And this is right before Clinton became president in 92. This is 80, he got drafted 87, so he was in office and stuff, but everyone knew this is Arkansas, so it's a rural area, and all you got is the big college out there, Arkansas, and then Scottie Pippen was down there, in central Arkansas. But everybody knew, and even his coach told him, hey, Scottie, they're looking for you. This was a D1 school, but it wasn't NCAA D1, it was NAIA, so it was a level up under, but it was still good competition. But, hey, Scottie Pippen got looked at and everyone knew who Scottie Pippen was. Now, the crazy thing about Scottie Pippen is, and a lot of people don't know this, Scottie Pippen, when he entered the draft, he was actually going to be the 5th pick. The Chicago Bulls had looked at him. Jerry was doing his job as a GM. Now, that's one thing Jerry did do in the early stages, was he was bringing players in. So he knew that Scottie Pippen was going to be in this draft, and he was trying to get him. But he had to trade up in order to get him because he knew Scottie Pippen would be gone. The crazy thing is Scottie Pippen got drafted by the Supersonics, and while he was wearing his hat, they came up to him like, hey, have you heard anything? And Scottie Pippen's like, no, about what? And they're like, hey, there's going to be a trade between Chicago. You're wearing the wrong hat. And Scottie Pippen's like, hey, anybody would want to play with Chicago. He knew who Michael Jordan was. And it was like, hey, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just glad to be in the NBA. He was kind of shy, but I'm just glad to be in the NBA. But he's like, okay, Chicago, that's what it is. If they trade for me, then hey, that's what I'm going to play. Fast forward back to the 97 season. Scottie Pippen is injured, so he's pretty much holding out because he wants to get paid more. Because what he's doing is he's underpaid for his work, which everyone knows. And even the owner told him, he told Scottie the same thing he told Michael Jordan. Don't sign that contract. It's a bad contract. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much he's like, hey, I'm the owner, but hey, negotiate with me. Work it out. Don't sign the contract. We can give you more money, but you got to negotiate it with us. If you're going to accept this small 7-year, $18 million, then you're selling yourself short. But the reason Scottie Pippen took that, and people didn't understand, was Scottie, he had a family he was taking care of, and he figured with that kind of money, he would be able to continue to take care of his family and send money off. Now that's good. Nowadays, like I said earlier, you're not going to hear any players settling for that, and they're not going to give you no 7-year deal. Like, that's just ridiculous. 7 years, that's too long out. Like, so much can happen in 7 years, and you just sold your soul for $18 million. I won't even say sold your soul because there's a lot of us going to work for $50,000 a year. We ain't even gonna make 18, but Scottie did it because he had a family to take care of. So Michael Jordan called him selfish because he was holding out. But he had it because of his injury. He could have had his injury done during the summer and been ready. His surgery done during the summer, and he could have been ready for the season. But he waited so he could use it as leverage. But the owner already said, hey, once you sign a contract, that's it. I'm not changing it. You sign this. Hey, let's keep it moving. So Scottie was locked in for that, and it was a tough thing for him. But hey, there's nothing you can do about that. With Scottie Pippen out for the beginning of the season, as you can see Michael Jordan kicking this box here, things is not going right. So when the season started, they're losing games. I'm talking about losing games to sorry teams. They losing to the Cavs. Super sorry. They used to have the Bulls versus Cavs, but that was in the early 90s. This is Dynasty Bulls here. We don't lose to these teams. They lose to Atlanta. They losing a lot of games they shouldn't be losing, but Scottie Pippen's gone. So all of this burden falls on the GOAT's shoulder. And he's like, hey, look, he's cussing teammates out in practice like, hey, man, if you don't want to be here, get the F out of here, man. We not having that. And you hear a lot of stories about Jordan being like that, but that's just because Jordan wanted to win. If you weren't trying to put in that work and practice and do everything that Jordan's doing, then hey, you're wrong. There's no reason to even be in this gym. Hey, Mo, come on, get in here because this dude ain't trying to play. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to play. Ron Harper, get out of here. Mo, get in. They calling me off the bench. And I'm like, all right, bad, Jordan. But, so Jordan's telling him, hey, we're better than this. And at that point, Jordan's like, man, I'm just going to have to do this by myself then. But Michael Jordan wants to be the best player in the world, which he is, on the best team. And right now, this ain't the best team, even though we are the best team, if that makes sense. So Michael Jordan grew up, and, you know, he had two brothers, and they used to compete all the time. Larry Jordan was the best one in the family at that time, but he was the older brother. So it was like, hey, when he's balling, like, everybody wants to win. So the competition between them was so fierce. Like, it would come, if Larry would lose, then he would fight them. Like, he didn't want to lose. And I mean, when you're fighting your brother or a loved one, it's like, man, you really love this person, but you guys are fighting. It's igniting every fire within you. This is what Jordan is saying. Like, my brothers are the ones that pushed me to be what I was. I was fighting for my dad's attention. You know what I'm saying? Larry was better with his hands, so he would go work on things. And he would be proud of his accomplishments. So Michael Jordan was like, man, I can't get my dad's attention because that's not what I want to do. They said they'll be out working and Larry would know how to fix something. Then he'll ask Michael for a screwdriver and he'll hand you some pliers. Like, oh, Michael, you ain't going to get out of here. You ain't going to be nothing. So Michael Jordan was like, man, I'm pretty much fighting for my father's attention. And I mean, you know how it is as a kid. You always want to make your dad proud. You know what I'm saying? That's who you look up to. That's your first, you know what I'm saying, your first idol, your first role model. Hey, so his brothers actually pushed him to be what he is. So along with Pippen's high school going into college transformation, they did the same with Jordan. So Michael Jordan, I may have got it mixed up. Scottie Pippen was 6'1" going into college. Michael Jordan was 5'11" going into it. Michael Jordan's growth spurt was from 5'11" to 6'3", and he could handle the ball. Like, everybody in North Carolina, they were like, oh man, this is a nice dude. He was just Mike Jordan at that time. Remember, he didn't gain Michael Jordan as a name until the confidence that he got when he hit that game winner his freshman year in college. So Mike Jordan, everyone knows about Mike Jordan. He's balling. Hey, they call down to North Carolina like, hey, UNC, we got a player up here. He might have a chance. And that guy was Mike Jordan. They always knew Mike was gifted. Even his dad in interviews back in the day, he said, if you want to see Michael Jordan do something, tell him he can't do it. And he's going to prove you wrong. He's going to do everything he can to prove you wrong. And that's what Mike did, man. His mom even said, growing up, basketball was his thing. The ball never left his side, man. That's all he did was basketball. And hey, man, he just kept growing and growing and growing, man. Just blossoming, practice after practice after practice. A lot of people don't know that Michael Jordan actually, his sophomore season, after he just won Rookie of the Year, he came down and he ended up breaking his foot. So a lot of younger people, you probably didn't know that Michael Jordan actually missed a whole season pretty much. He played a couple of games, but they were non-factors. So what he did was he actually convinced the team and the owner, hey, let me go back to the University of North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So he can go to school. But what he really did was go down there and start rehabbing. So he's out there practicing, running all day in the swimming pools, getting better and everything. And then he ended up gradually, slowly taking steps to the court, went to playing 1-on-1. Then he upped it to 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and then he was running 5-on-5. He didn't tell anybody in the Chicago Bulls organization that he was actually down there playing basketball because they would have told him, no, it's over with. You're flying back up here. We're going to keep a closer eye on you. But once he gets back, they take him in, and the doctor tells him, there's a 10% chance that you can get hurt again. And if you do, the owner said, what happens if that 10% kicks in? And then he told him, hey, your career is over with. Then Michael Jordan said, well, that means there's a 90% chance that this injury won't happen. So Mike's like, don't look at it, the negativity. Let's look at the positive. It's 90%. Y'all got to let me play. And he said when he came back to play, his right ankle and calf, it was better than ever. once Michael Jordan returns to Chicago and they find out that he was playing basketball down in North Carolina, they are mad. So he's pretty much like, hey, y'all got to let me play. So they say, all right, Jordan, we'll let you play, but we're going to put you on minutes restriction. So they said they literally had a stopwatch on the bench, and they would kick. So he could only play 7 minutes a half. They get to a point where if they win a game, they can make the playoffs. But the Chicago Bulls is like, man, we're going to go ahead and tank, and we're going to get this lottery pick. But Michael Jordan's like, man, this is basketball. We got to play to win. And Michael Jordan being the player that he is, when they put him in that game for that 14 minutes, Mike went off. I'm talking about he was a walking bucket. The original walking bucket right there, Mike Jordan. This is where it came from, the walking bucket. Like Jordan went crazy. And right when the 7 minutes hit in the second half, they called a timeout. 31 seconds left. They're down by 1 point. And Mike's like, man, you got to let me play this last 31 seconds, man. This is for a playoff spot. But they told the coach, if you play Michael 1 second over that 14 minutes, you're fired right on the spot. So he told Mike, hey, man, I can't put you in, man. I'm going to lose my job. So they literally set Mike out. And Paxson went in there and went and hit a game winner. He didn't think he was gonna make it. He said, I just threw something up there and I hit it, man. Like, they made the playoffs. Unfortunately for them Bulls, they had to go up against the number 1 seed Boston Celtics, 67-15, with 4 Hall of Famers. Of course, the world's greatest shooter at the time, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Bill Walton. They were going up against an unstoppable team. Larry Bird even said, this is probably the best team I've ever played for. They were deep. They even had Danny Ainge. He was a low-key sniper too now. Now, a lot of people forget about Danny. He could shoot that thing. But MJ in MJ fashion went on out there and gave them hell. He put up 49 points in the first game against the number 1 seed Boston Celtics. But unfortunately, they lost that game, and it wasn't looking too good for the Bulls after that first game, man. They had it in for them, man. Especially being the low seed. They had like 30 wins, 37 wins like that. They were a losing record, but they made the playoffs because Michael Jordan was doing his best to keep them in. And he had no minutes restrictions in this playoff. I'm talking everybody was trying to hold Mike. He's blowing past everybody, going baseline, hitting mid-range jumpers. No one could stop MJ, man. He was just on fire in game 1. 49 points. It's like, man, we knew the kid could ball, but like this, 49, he's coming out and putting up 49. Like, get out of here. Who is this guy? Like, and after that game, they like, man, what can we expect? Okay, he gave us 49, man. It can't get any worse than this. So game 2 against the Boston Celtics runs around. Now, this is on a Sunday. The first game was on Thursday. On Saturday, MJ went golfing with Danny Ainge. You know, Danny Ainge won a little bit of money off of MJ because he wasn't that good of a golfer at that time, and he wasn't that good of a baseball player. He should just stick to basketball, the basics, okay? But anyway, before they drop Danny Ainge off, this is Saturday afternoon, MJ tells Danny Ainge, hey, tell your boy DJ, I got something for him tomorrow. That's what leads us into game number 2. The infamous 63-pointer that your boy MJ couldn't be stopped. Michael Jordan is ripping through everybody. So no one expected him to put up 49 in the first game. And Larry Bird said to himself, like, okay, he put up 49. But 63, this guy could not be stopped. Everybody on the team had to guard MJ at one point. They even said Bill Walton was cussing out Danny Ainge like, hey, you mother effer, get on him. There's no reason you should be getting switched and I have to hold him because he's going to do me. So everybody knew that they couldn't stop Jordan. They were switching everybody on him. Bird tried to hold him. I don't know what Bird was thinking. He knew his unathletic self. He was not going to be able to keep up with no MJ. Come on now. And then Bill Walton's slow self out there. Danny Ainge had a little bit of defense, but he wasn't that good. Oh, and he just busted DJ. DJ didn't stand a chance. So you know he was glad whenever they switched. And you see Larry Bird, he just worn up. I don't know, coach. I don't know what we could do with him. But the Celtics end up winning the game. And this led to the Bulls getting swept. I know a lot of people bring that up and say, well, MJ got swept. But, I mean, it's 4 Hall of Famers, and they went on to win the championship. And they also went to, 5 finals? 6 finals in 8 years? And no, it was 5 finals in 8 years and won 3 of them. Like, they won this year, and then they was a great team. It was a Hall of Fame team. If you play 2K, they won an all-time great team. So it is what it is. I mean, Jordan got swept, but 63 points, it's never been done in a playoff game. MJ's the only one to hold that record. After that, Larry Bird says MJ's the closest thing to God on earth. Pretty much he's God in disguise. Like, this guy is something else. Magic, him and Bird were both telling each other, hey, this kid is coming. He's next. He's the next big thing in the NBA. There's no denying it. Well, when the Bulls were trying to win, what they did, and we fast forward back to the current Bulls, they ended up trading Charles Oakley to New York for a Cartwright. Now, Michael Jordan and Charles Oakley, they had built a very close relationship. Charles Oakley was pretty much his protector. If anything happened to Jordan on the court, Charles Oakley was there to diffuse the situation or make the situation worse and get into whoever face fouled Jordan in. Let them know, hey, don't touch Jordan. You know what I'm saying? He's ours. He's our GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He's your GOAT too. Don't touch him. But MJ even said, I mean, it's pretty much business. But when they got rid of Oakley, they put the Bulls in place to actually win. And Cartwright was going to play his role and provide and actually help with the Bulls to go win them championships that they needed to try to win. I mean, you got MJ on your team. It's like if you had a Kobe or LeBron, you got to give them the pieces to push them out there and let them be great and bring up everybody up under them. It's just something that had to be done. Fast forward to the season with Scottie Pippen and Jerry. Jerry gets on TV and pretty much says, hey, anybody can be traded. My job is to listen to teams. If they got a good offer, Scottie Pippen can go. At this point, Scottie Pippen says, you know what? F it. Y'all won't renegotiate my contract and give me more money what I deserve. And Jerry just on here talking about he wants to trade me. I'm demanding the trade. I'm never wearing a Chicago Bulls jersey again. I won't play another game. And at this point, Scottie is so mad. He's traveling with the team while he's injured, but he just disrespected Jerry in front of everybody. He doesn't care. It's like, hey, y'all messed up my stuff, so forget it. Jerry, you're going to hear from me every single day. And Scottie didn't like that. And I could see people being frustrated because I would be very frustrated if I wasn't getting what I was paid, man. And they talking about, they on the TV talking about, hey, we could trade him. Forget that. Hey, y'all gonna trade me? Okay, watch this. I just won't play then. So that was episode 2 on Scottie Pippen. I'm thinking next week, episode 3 is gonna be on Rodman. But comment below, what do you think you would have done if you were in Scottie Pippen's position? Would you did the same thing, held out and try to get more money, and if not, go look for a trade and try to go somewhere else? Comment below and let me know what you think, man. But hey, thank you for watching. That's episode 2 of a 10-part series of The Last Dance, the 97-98 Chicago Bulls. Hey, I'm MoedotJ, and like always, subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment, turn on your notifications so you can get something every time I drop. And if you can, follow me on my social media. It's MoedotJ on everything. I'm on Instagram the most, and thank you for watching. We'll be here next week for episode 3 on Monday, episode 4 on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm out.
Jimmy on a beat, boy.